slides, and then we'll jump right into the code. Before we get started, let's define what Node.js actually is. So many absolute beginners think that Node.js is some kind of framework or library or even a language, but it's not. It's a JavaScript runtime, and a runtime is a program or an environment that runs other programs. So we can build JavaScript applications and run them right on your computer or right on the server. Now, Node.js was built with C++, and it uses the powerful V8 JavaScript engine that's also used with the Google Chrome web browser. Node.js can be used for a lot of things, but it's mostly used for developing server-side and networking applications, APIs, microservices. It essentially allows you to use JavaScript to write server-side code and do a lot of the same things you would do with Python or PHP or C# and other server-side languages. Now, traditionally, JavaScript was only used on the client side in the web browser to do things like form validation, animation, small stuff like that. But with Node.js, JavaScript has really become a truly powerful full-stack language. And again, you can do a lot of the same things you can do with other server-side languages. And there are actually other JavaScript runtimes such as Dino and Bun.js, and those are really cool to explore. They're much newer. Definitely suggest starting with Node.js. I would never suggest that someone start with something like Bun jobs using those technologies for them either. Sure, and the V8 engine, it's also pretty popular. I think it's something like 6.3 million websites use Node.js, and it's used by companies like Netflix, Uber, LinkedIn, and in addition to really large companies, Node is also a really popular option for startups and smaller projects as well. Now, I just want to quickly go over what we're going to cover in this course and kind of the order we're going to do it in. So, of course, as well, we're going to, in this file, you can create to and from kind of Node.js's native system, and then you can also use ES modules, which is the import syntax that you use with React, Vue, and all the front-end JavaScript stuff. So I'm going to show you both, but ultimately we're going to stick with ES modules. That's just what I prefer. It's more modern. Now, when it comes to the core modules that Node includes, I think the HTTP module is one of the most important to kind of understand when you're getting started. And this is what allows you to create a server and accept requests and give responses. So a big part of this tutorial will be using the HTTP module. Now, in real life, like I said earlier, you'd probably use something like Express, which is a web framework that makes things much easier. And I'm also going to be revamping my Express crash course as well. But Express uses or sits on top of the HTTP module. So it's good to know how this works and how to accept requests, how to work with them, how to send responses back, send JSON back, and deal with HTTP headers and methods and all that stuff. So that's really what we're going to some responses. And the second things like mistake that I see people do is jump to Node.js too quickly. Before learning Node.js, you should have a good understanding of JavaScript. So of course you should know all the fundamentals, variables, functions, loops, objects, classes. I also suggest that you is an API launch cycle. You should know about HTTP methods like get, post, put, delete. You should know the common status codes, 200, 404, 500, things like that. And you will be learning more about this stuff as you learn about Node.js, and even in this very video. Now, you with can be creative of how they work. Node Package Manager, you probably have some experience with. I mean, if you're using React or any front-end framework, you're usually installing that stuff with NPM, so you probably have an idea, but you will also learn about NPM and package.json and stuff in this video. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how Node.js works. And I'm not going to go too deep into this because I want this to be practical and easily digestible, but you should have a basic idea on top of have their own engine, converts and extend blocking, which means that it doesn't wait around for I/O operations, database operations happen, or these things to complete thousands of connections. Node.js, there's a single main thread that your computer executes, and in a single thread, different from multi-simultaneous mechanism that instead it can triggers a callback and to kind of giant revolving mission and task execution. Now, as each handling incoming tasks, I don't know if that analogy helps that important. It's more and things guys, server rendered apps, different for real things like services. So web scraper and event loop operation. More into the slides, we'll start to set up a project, node.js.org,